Now, I don't know about you guys, but when I am looking for advice on how to be a man and how to analyze who the most dangerous threats on the street are, I go to a guy like Wes Watson, who's going to give me gems of, gems of knowledge, like pro fighters are huge squares. They are not dangerous because they are not violent people. Unlike my crew, because those guys are going to duct tape your family if you do jujitsu on them. And I was like, damn, man, it is lucky that I found Wes Watson. Otherwise, there's a high probability I was going to find a pro fighter and go, hey, man, I'm kind of scared of you. But Wes let me know that he's a huge square. And all I have to do is duct tape his family if I lose the fight and everything's cool. I think he said something about being willing to do life in prison. That one I was like, well, I mean, that sounds kind of stupid. But all right, these guys are willing to sit in a cell for the rest of their life. They'll duct tape your family. And I'm like, whoa. So you mean like I should be terrified of you and not scared of pro fighters? Got it. Squared. Okay. So Wes Watson, since then, has had the entire fighter community, bombarding his inbox, and he got into it with Kevin Holland. Now, if you're not familiar with Kevin Holland, he is a 6'3" black fighter in the UFC who is a killing machine. He literally can punch you from 10 yards away. Okay. He has many, many, many knockouts in the UFC. He's also a black belt in jiu-jitsu. So, to say that Wes Watson has no chance in a fight against him would basically be equivalent to me saying, like, if you jumped off the Empire State Building, you're not going to survive, because I don't think that Wes is going to have much of a parachute. As I was saying that, I'm like, God, bad metaphor, Jesse on Fire. If you had a parachute, you could base jump that thing. So just, obviously when we're assessing my metaphor, I meant without a parachute, right? You're going to die for sure. And that is how certain it is that Kevin Holland beats the living shit out of Wes Watson. Here's the thing, right? So he got racist on him though, dude. He got racist when he responded to Kevin Holland. So we're going to look at that. But before that, I want to show you I honestly think this is an even crazier interaction that he had with my boy, Marcus Deegan. You guys may know Marcus Deegan. He has a podcast. I believe it's number 20 on the Spotify list, in fact. Man, I wish I had that. If I had a picture of he and I handy, I would have put it in this video, but whatever. He and I have hung out in Vegas before. But nonetheless, here's him right here. And we're going to take a look at this interaction that he had with Wes Watson because... what's the right way to put this? Wes Watson has a very delusional, I don't know, what's the right way to put this? Like opinion of his value, right? Like what he's charging to come on your podcast, where you're like, I mean, I guess it makes sense given that he doesn't have a successful podcast or content, career. Like he uses his thing to trap dumbbells who believe that they can be like Wes Watson if they buy his coaching program, and he charges like $25,000 to $40,000 for it. He's like, listen, if you want to be like me, you just got to break out the checkbook and pay $25,000. But don't worry about it, dude. You're going to be making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, probably within 2 or 3 days. So it's an investment that any smart person's going to make. So we'll get into that in a second. But so that's what we're going to do. All right. That is what we're going to do. Now go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, where you can get hard-hitting news like this. My channel is awesome, and let me tell you why. The most recent video that I did before this was about the lawsuit in the UK getting declassified. So all 200 people named in the Virginia Giuffre lawsuit against Jeffrey Epstein now is public record. Okay. So I go from, hey guys, let's check out all these celebrities on the Epstein list in the UK to, hey guys, listen to this nobody idiot who said pro fighters are pussies because some imaginary person will duct tape their family. Ipso facto, fighters are not dangerous. Like I cover a wide array of topics and also a wide array of intelligence levels. And nonetheless, the only difference that you're going to see from me is, I really kick the sarcasm up when we're talking about retards. And this is definitely one of those videos. So let's get right into it right here. Oh, God. Why does Instagram always default to mute? I actually do like that. I'm just kidding.
Wes Watson about his controversial comment.
Unfortunately, on YouTube, I will get my monetization stolen by whatever song that is in the background. Doesn't happen on Instagram. It does on YouTube. So unfortunately, Marcus Deegan, I am not going to play your reel. However, I am going to tell everyone about this interaction. So check this out, dude. Hey, so great news, guys. I just talked for 10 straight minutes making fun of Wes and did not even get to this story at all. So what I did is I just did a little edit right here, cut that, and now we're going to talk about this thing over here and the, Kevin Holland thing. And then you can watch a 10-minute evisceration of Wes Watson. But it's at least funny. Like, I know when I'm being funny, for the record. It's funny. So you're going to want to stick around. But I definitely don't want to step on the video. So let's actually talk about this. So Wes Watson, guys, charges $10,000 if you want him to come on your podcast. Okay. See this? You should come to Vegas. I'd love to interview you, mate. He says, I do 10K for interviews and you got to come to Miami. And Marcus, who is a successful podcaster and knows how much money anyone can make from a single podcast, especially based on what guest you have, pushed back like, what? Whoa, damn, dude, you're expensive. I'm number 30 on Spotify. Thought it'd be a great opportunity, whatever. And Wes is like, just what I charge, bro. Don't care to explain it. You wrote me. I don't know who you are. You're all, well, I mean, at least he is sticking to his guns, right? $10,000. So in order to make $10,000 on, let's just say YouTube AdSense, right? Let's just forget about external sponsors. Let's just say YouTube AdSense, right? You would need to make around, you do about 1.5 million views, okay? What do you think the odds of you getting 1.5 million views on an interview with Wes Watson are? Okay, because I'm going to go with fucking 0, okay? That's not going to happen. Where does he come up with a number like that? $10,000, you got to come to Miami? You're all, I don't know, man. That's ridiculous. My studio isn't, you want me to pay you 10 grand and come to you? Okay. Well, I guess, thank you for responding to my DM, but I'm going to go ahead and take a pass on that, dude. I'm just going to go ahead and say, no, thank you. I'm going to go find someone who lives in some semblance of reality because the idea that you're worth $10,000 for an interview, I don't know. I don't have a metaphor that is ludicrous enough for that. Like, it's absurd, It is patently absurd. But listen, I am terrible at charging for things, Like, I give out free advice that I could charge outlandish money for the free help that I give to other people on YouTube or in startups and all this stuff, but I don't, because I'm not, I just kind of like helping and I feel weird asking for money, but I always do kind of respect people who just have no qualms about just being like, yeah, I need that. I need 5K for that. And like in my mind, I'm like, I know the value of what you're offering and it's nowhere fucking near 5K. It's like, wow, that is audacious, But anyway, that's fucking ludicrous as usual. So check this out though. Okay. So now let's go through Kevin Holland's interaction with Wes Watson. Now, for people who know Wes Watson but do not know Kevin Holland, actually, I guess I should have pulled this up beforehand. Okay. Actually, let's do this. Let's go to Kevin Holland's Instagram so you have a face to go with the name. Okay. Kevin Holland is fighting on the main card at UFC tonight. Okay. I have been very, very, very close to this dude in person. Okay. He is one of the people that shocked the shit out of my system about how big he is. Okay. This dude is enormous in real life. Okay. Like, he fights at he goes 185 or 170. He can make 170. So you think what's a person that weighs 170 pounds look like? Hey, not like this. Okay. This dude I weigh 195. If I was standing there, no one would be like, Jesse is as big as Kevin. Like, he's huge, okay? He's huge, super fucking tall, and super dangerous. He's also mean as fuck, okay? Don't make any mistakes about this. He is mean, okay? He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, okay? He's a knockout artist who just pulverizes people. He's got more guns than anybody else. Like, he might have the most, like, more guns than any other black dude in Texas. I think that's a serious possibility. And I mean that as like a severe, serious compliment, you know, because I also have a lot of guns. I am not black, however, so I cannot, you know, compare arsenals because we're not on the same, you know, playing field. See, guys, that's me not racist making jokes about black people because everyone knows, obviously, I'm not racist, so I can just, you know, throw out a joke like that because I love Kevin Holland. I love every other black person that doesn't hate me, you know. So what's up, dude? Wes Watson should try that on instead of being super racist. Anyway, so this guy, bottom line is, he would kill Wes Watson with his bare hands within 1 second. 1 second, okay? So this is his interaction with Wes Watson after Wes Watson, you know, called out like all pro fighters. So this is what Kevin Holland says. He says, damn, comments off. You go on a rant, then turn into a pussy. Because he's like, hey, why don't you stand on that, bro? Why don't you stand on that? And Wes Watson, never one to back down. I mean, I wouldn't expect him to. He says, comments aren't turned down, you slow motherfucker. You got to follow to comment. Got something to say, crybaby. I love this. He didn't even look at who he's talking to. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's so funny about this is like, he didn't even look at who he's talking to. He's like, oh yeah? Hey, bitch. Hey, bitch, what you going to do? Let me see what his Instagram like profile looks like. Oh, it's a black UFC fighter, you know? So the reason I notate in this case that he's black is because Wes Watson starts making, you know, like slurs at, or like, you know, referencing in a racist way that he's black, right? So, you know, apparently he didn't look very closely at that picture to recognize that says UFC on his shirt, and he has a UFC glove on, which means he is an actual professional fighter, not the imaginary ones that Wes was talking about, okay? So, Kevin Holland responds, oh, my page the same way. I'm in Miami Thursday, beach fight bar, fight house, fight up. To you, your way, your city. Oh, and your girl's hot. So he's challenging him to fight. And Wes Watson says, she don't like toads. Nobody does. Now, if you guys are unfamiliar with that term, that is a term that is used in prison for black guys. Some of you may have seen the movie Shot Caller, in fact. Okay? You know in the movie Shot Caller, when, you know, when he, like, Money first gets into prison and he accidentally bumps into some black guy, total accident, and the guy's all, hey, what's up, man? And then he fights him, you know, and then after he gets out of the hole, the white dudes walk up to him. They're all, hey, you think whatever because you put your toe, damn it. I can't remember, but whatever. Put your tip in some toad. Remember that? That's what he's talking about, right? Talking about a black dude. And Kevin Holland says, she like money. I can tell. Now, this is where Wes Watson, again, has not looked at who he's talking to. He says, and you're broke, kiddo. And Kevin Holland says, LOL, get off the crack. Because Kevin Holland is making 7 figures a year for sure because he fights all the time and he's a big UFC star. And then Wes, who is, again, assumes he's like talking to one of these like Reddit kids because they're the ones who are usually fucking with him in DMs, not a superstar professional fighter who would butt Wes every which way but Thursday. Anyway, I had to go edit that out because there are certain terms that you can say that will demonetize your video, and I'm pretty sure that might be one of them. One time, actually, I won't even say it. Even telling the story, I might get it demonetized. So anyway, he says, fuck's the matter with you little boys? And then he says, boy. He calls him a boy. That also is a racial slur. You guys may be familiar with that. So Kevin says, so what's up? You being a pussy or what? And Wes says, talking shit because you hear something you don't agree with. I don't give a who you or if you like me. Again, he still has not figured out, like, this is one of those pro fighters that you said were pussies. And he's like, hey, I have an idea. Let's fight. And Wes is like, oh, what? You don't like something I said or something? Like, you disagree with it? He's like, no, you said I was a pussy. I was going to come, you know, smash your face in or choke you to death. And Kevin says, LOL, ain't that how the world works? Because he said, I don't give a fuck if you, I don't give a fuck who you or if you like me. He said, ain't that how the world works? And then Wes says, fuck weirdo. He says, I'd call you, but I ain't got your number. And Wes says, I will send you a KFC gift card. How about that? I mean, listen, dude. In Wes's defense, he wants to be super mean. The only thing he knows about him is that he's black, right? So he went straight for the race card, which is interesting given, his pending case, which we will get into shortly in the part which I referenced where I talked for 10 straight minutes. Very, very important context. And then Kevin says, sucks being an influencer when you get called out and you won't do shit, huh? And Wes says, stupid. And Wes said nobody gives a fuck about your armbar. Squares want to fight. And Kevin says, seems like you bitching. And Wes says, people where I'm from don't fight. They win. And Kevin loved that. People where I'm from don't fight. They win. Okay. They don't care about that shit. You done time, pussy. You been to prison. Bet not, square. Fuck out of my DM, broke F-bomb. Think you're gonna motherfucker me, pussy bitch, skinny little bitch. Oh my God, it's amazing. He always goes to the skinny card, dude. You're like, hey, genius. Kevin Holland is carrying weight the way that he is because he is a lethal instrument of murder. Okay. Like the guy can kill you with his bare hands any way he feels like. You survive the fight with him. If he ends up, and Kevin, this is what I'm telling you guys. When I said he's mean, okay, he's mean, dude. Okay. There might be some things that I said later, whatever, that I just I'm not sure because I jammed this in or whatever. Kevin Holland's mean, dude. Now he's cool, but he's mean. Like he tried to fight two guys that were in my crew that I hosted a group for Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz because they asked to take a picture with him, dude. He was on one. Two other guys I talked to that night said Kevin Holland tried to fight them too. These are just people who are just hanging out, dude. And they're like, Kevin Holland, what's up, dude? He wanted to fight them. What do you think he's going to do to you? Racist Wes Watson, who talks shit to him in DMs. If he sees you, it's on sight for sure. And you and your buddies, in this case, could probably bring those dumbbells and all that. You go 4-on-1. He's going to starch all of you. That's not, you know what? Probably. No, he would. He'll starch you. I know that you probably never have seen like many punches coming your direction where like, you knew you were in a fight at the time. It's like more like you just attack somebody when they're not expecting it or whatever. But like, this is all Kevin does is train to avoid being hit with things and then knock people into oblivion, And again, if you get close enough to grab him, then he's going to choke you to death because he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Not that you'd need to be a black belt in order to dispatch of you and your untrained buddies. Now, I'm going to let you guys get into this next 10 minutes where I just... it's worth the watch, dude. Enjoy. So when this all happened with the fighter, with all the pro fighters who wanted to, kill Wes Watson, obviously he's never going to agree to fight, right? He's not going to agree to fight because, then he's going to have to duct tape whoever beats the shit out of him, which is basically everyone probably. He's going to have to duct tape their family and then do life in prison, Funny thing about that, one thing that a lot of people don't know is that this idiot, okay, Wes Watson, has a pending case because as he just baited the entire pro fighter community, he was constantly doing that on his like live streams and stuff. And, he's like, hey, come at me, dog. I'll be at Elevation Gym or whatever the name of it is. I don't remember if that's correct or not. Sounds semi-correct. Hey, I'll be at Elevation Gym. I'm there every day, dude. Hey, come see me, dog. Come see me. So a guy DM'd him. He's all, hey, I'm your size. Why don't you pick on someone your own size? I'm your size. Hey, but I come see you. And he's all, pull up, dog. Pull up. We can get down. So the dude pulled up, okay, and he was enormous, right? Now, this probably worked against him because he's one of those enormous guys that's so big that I would imagine 95 to 100% of the people that he's rolled up on like that in his life have shit their pants and been terrified. So he didn't probably meet a whole lot of actual resistance, Like, it's one of those things. That's why there are way less heavyweight fighters than there are bantamweight fighters. Because bantamweight fighters are little guys, and they have to learn to be lethal in order to be lethal, versus I can just be gigantic. So Wes attacked the dude, okay? He's got 3 of his boys there, okay? At least 3. Okay, so Wes takes off his weight belt. He pretends like he doesn't want to fight. Get out of here, man. Get out of here. This is all on video, by the way. Get out of here, man. Takes the weight belt and then hits the guy with it. And then his buddy comes around the back and takes a dumbbell and smashes the guy in the back of the head. And then when he goes down, then Wes starts punching and kicking him when he cannot defend himself and kicks him about 1,000 times. Hey, you want to know how many times the guy went unconscious? 0. 0. Now, I realize that might not sound like a relevant point to the people who follow my stuff and are not like in the martial arts community, but to the people like us, right? Like people who are trained to hurt things, okay? The idea of someone eating a kick to the face from us while they are not defending themselves and being awake would be very embarrassing, okay? Like, listen, I am by no stretch of the imagination the toughest guy in the world. I lose fights all the time. One of my black belt instructor / teammates yesterday, who happens to be a world champion, but I was doing pretty good yesterday. I was feeling pretty good about myself in my first couple rounds, and I think that he saw me doing really well against people who are much higher ranked than me, and so he's like, hey, Jesse, here, come over here. And he proceeded to tap me out like 7 times in 6 minutes, I was helpless. It was no-gi, so I couldn't even slow him down. It was humiliating, humiliating. I don't even know why that just came up. Something about me not being the toughest guy in the world. But yeah, I mean, like there's a million people who could beat my ass. But if I kick someone in the face, I don't give a fuck how tall they are. If they're down on all fours and I kick you in your face and you are not protecting yourself, you are unconscious. There is no exception to that rule. There's not a single person who's going to be able to eat that from me. And I don't even kick the hardest out of anybody in the world. I mean, I kick real fucking hard, but like, I'm not even a pro, dude. Okay. Wes Watson kicked this guy unabated, okay, without the guy defending himself, probably in the ballpark of 12 to 13 times. And the dude just ate it. And that's because Wes Watson doesn't know how to fight, okay? Doesn't know how to fight. Can't knock this dude out, not even defending himself, kicked him in the face 13 times. So anyway, my point is this. My point is that, God, I can't help myself, dude. Anytime I talk about Wes and like fighting, it's like my inner 13-year-old comes out. Why am I talking about myself kicking anyone? How on earth is that relevant? It's not, okay? I'm 5. At least I recognize I'm 5 years old and then can call it out afterwards. Wes is like, you're all, ipso facto, pro fighters are not tough. You're all, dude, your 5-year-old is taking over your entire brain. You should really go see a psychiatrist. I never say that to people. Like, I never recommend therapy to people, but I think this dude, like, go to therapy, man. Like, it's okay, dude. Okay? It's okay. Everyone knows you're rich. Hey, everyone knows you're buff, dude. Calm down. Okay? You don't have to be the toughest guy in the room all the time. Okay? All that anyone's judging is this a tough person who would stand up for themselves? If the answer is yes, cool. You're on this side of the fence with us. You don't need to be the toughest guy out of this room unless you're some kind of fucking lunatic, because you're not. There's always someone tougher than you. And in your case, like everyone who has training and is like even around your size. Anyway, but so he's got a pending case for this. He's facing 15 years in prison. Okay. Like currently facing 15 years in prison, has been indicted. Okay. Has been arraigned. And this fucking moron is on the internet talking about how his crew will duct tape your family, as if the DA is not going to take that clip and then use it to bury him under the jail. Also in that case, relevant is the fact that he was screaming racial slurs at the dude while he was kicking him. He happened to be black as well. And so he's yelling racist stuff at him while he's kicking him in the face on video. Okay. So you would think that he would want to stay away from A, glorifying violence on the internet, B, certainly never talking about him committing violence. What was that? A and B. C, definitely not saying that you hang around with a crew that is down to kidnap, duct tape, or kill a person's family, And then last of all, nothing racist, just stay away from things that are racist. That was too tall of an order for him, though. He's like, nah, man, I'm just going to do all of those things. And hopefully it doesn't impact my sentencing. That is a very sound strategy that you took on there. I like it, dude. Maybe you should even go a step further and request a black judge and then send him like a present with a gift wrap. And then on the inside, you know, like it's all wrapped up. It's like, love you from Wes Watson. Then when the guy opens the box, it's just like it's a card that says happy birthday, opens it, and it just has an N-bomb. F you, N-bomb, to the judge. You know, I've seen that work before. I saw a guy actually who was facing 10 years. He only got 18 months probation because he pulled the FU N-bomb card on the judge. And the judge was like, wow, this guy's got an amazing sense of humor. Now, another time I saw a guy who was facing serious time. And when they asked him if he had anything he wanted to say for himself, he stood up in front of the court and said, I just want everyone to know that pro fighters are pussies, and if you use your jujitsu on me, I'll duct tape your family and do the rest of my life in prison. And the judge was like, wow, this guy's honesty is shocking. I think we would be doing the whole world a huge disservice if we locked you up. And the guy, you let the guy off. He had already been convicted, and the judge reversed it. So maybe, listen, Wes is onto something. Also, since this arraignment thing, he got his head tattooed. You know? I mean, listen, I know that just as a casual observer looking at a person and trying to assess their threat level to society, a person who can cover all of their tattoos and then put on a suit, you know, like I could tell that's a phony. I want to see a guy who has tattooing all over their head. And that way I'm like, oh, definitely safe. That's a guy I'm going to let out of prison. Wait, so you're saying he got tattoos on his head after catching this case? Correct. In between catching the case and getting sentenced, you know, tattoos all over his head. Well, how strong is the state's case? I mean, he's on video. The entire thing is on video. Like perfectly on video. Him kicking the dude like literally 15-ish times. His buddy hitting him in the head with a fucking dumbbell. His other buddy coming in and kicking him in the face. Oh, did I mention that after the fight, Wes posted a photograph of his shoe, his bloody shoe on Instagram? He posted a picture on Instagram of his bloody shoe. Okay? Check that out, dog. Hey, someone pulled up. Didn't go the way he hoped, bro. Didn't go the way he hoped. You're all, wow. Are there any other circumstances related to this incident that you think are relevant? He's like, what do you mean? I'll whip this dude's ass. You're all, I don't know. I mean, like, when you were squared up with the guy, did your friend sneak up behind the guy and hit him with a dumbbell, completely incapacitating him so that you didn't actually fight anyone? You just beat up a dude who was already, severely injured by the dumbbell? What, dude? That's how we get down in prison, bro. That's how we get down in prison. You're all, well, I mean, I guess you're probably going to be doing that kind of thing a lot then, because you're going to go to prison. Also, you flexed blood on a shoe. So anyway, I'm sorry. This is what I'm saying. Like, this is such an idiotic story that I just talked for 15 minutes and I haven't even gotten to the fucking story yet. Okay. So Wes Watson charges $10,000 to come on a podcast show. Okay. $10,000. $10,000.